It's like when you watch like World War II fleet formations, and it's like trying to T-bone the other fleet.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with episode 6 of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Gaiden, Spiral Labyrinth, plus a part 2 of a paragraph-long episode title. Go ahead and tell us about all those fleet formations.
Basically, we get to the big battle, and to boil it down, is Ashby, yeah, it's not Ashby, it's Ashby. Ashby seems to have this preternatural tactics. He seems to know where everything's going on, but his underlings are like, we can't just trust you on this one. It just seems too very risky, right? There's a lot of things going on. It turns out that there's rumors that Ashby wants to retire. He says he wants to retire and leaves a rumor open that he might want to run for office. So that's how the episode starts. And then you have the battle. And basically different formations fighting. One of the reason why the Empire is doing this because they want to kill or capture Ashby, right? To put the rebels in this place. But it seems that Ashby's doing this in order to secure his political future, right? Win the big battle against the Empire. But the person, Wassenberger? Or Wassenberger? I don't remember what the name of the admiral.
Wassenberger, that is my spin-off restaurant. No, Muckenberger is the Muckenberger is the name of the family, I guess.
Yeah, his uncle was the leader of the Imperial fleet that died before he could get his revenge on Ashby. So here's the one who's saying, "Oh, I want to, get revenge." He launches an attack into the midst of the Alliance fleet. I keep saying Federation for some reasons because I'm stuck in UC, the other UC timeline, and he gets killed, right? And it turns out that up to this moment, everything that Ashby has said, even when one of his subordinates goes out and does his own thing, turns out to be prescient. He's been winning the battle. He even sends a fleet across some asteroids to ambush the enemy at some future time. We didn't see that, but
to circle around from behind. He's planning a rear assault, which has played out well because of the whole breaking formation thing that's happened already.
And so you have the final exchanges, but Ashby has kept the core of his fleet in reserve and not engaging or minimal engagement. And so now we're going to see how that battle plays out. But we do know that only one person survives of the 730 Mafia survives this battle. We don't know how that's going to happen, or more importantly, why, which is why Wei Ling is investigating, because there's a rumor that there was a murder instead of being a defeat or just an accidental, death in combat, as it happens. And so we're about to see the second part of that battle and see how it plays out.
Well, I have 3 thoughts that came to my mind during your recap. One, I mean, it's entirely impossible that Bruce is not aiming for a political career. Well, I didn't come out of my mouth. He's not might not be aiming for a political career. It might be forced upon him by expectation, vis-a-vis the conversation that Alex has with Yang about what would happen when he retired, that Yang found distasteful, that would push him into politics as well. Might be this expectation of what happens when you go into retirement as this heavy military society. That maybe their their democracy is essentially built on the back of military service. Another Starship Troopers analogy. Anyway, secondly, which one of them was it that broke formation to rush ahead? Was it Alfred or was it Warwick?
I think it was Warwick. It's the more debonair one, the one that is the most British of them all.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I remember a more British mustache, but I thought it was like a blonde mustache, which Alfred doesn't have in the picture that I have for him. But yeah, somebody broke rank, and suddenly I now cannot remember what my third point was. It had something to do with the breaking of formation.
Well, he was also being a bit of a glory hound. He was tired of, he says, he was tired of Ashby getting all the roses, according
Yeah.
to the translation.
Yeah. The element I was trying to go for here was that Ashby had set up the pincer attack basically before any of the movements had been made. You know, go around that asteroid belt. You're going to attack them from the back at some later date or some later point in the battle, even though nothing is set up for that way, and he has not actually coordinated anything to happen that way. Things have just happened, so that rear pincer attack is going to play out at the perfect point in time. So they're not displaying it like he is a master of the incidental circumstance, that things are playing out and he's getting lucky and being able to take advantage of them, say, again, a char maneuver. And it's more so that he's just lucky. I'm not seeing any indication if he's like a military genius or he's really good at the moment to moment, because he's not making moment to moment calls. Things are just playing out well.
I think he has a good read of the personalities involved. Right? Because he says, oh, yeah, he wasn't surprised when Warwick went his own way. It's like, well, yeah, that's what's happening. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
but what good is a military commander who's just like, cool, guy did what he was going to do?
Yeah.
He didn't say, okay, now reinforce him or fall back or wait for the next move that they're going to do that I'm going to tell you that I think they're going to do, and they're going to do it because that's the way the anime works. But, he didn't act accordingly. He said, oh, that's right, thought he would do that. Now let's see if the Imperials do the same thing. We haven't seen him make any orders other than, hey, eventually we're going to want to spank him in the ass. I don't know why he's a good leader, is what I'm saying. I haven't seen it on the battlefield.
Somebody who keeps his cool, I guess. He doesn't panic.
Sorry. That was a thought I was having during it. That's not actually what my last thought was. I now remember the implication that all of these guys die here at this battle. They're all on different ships. All the fleet command ships, all of them except for one, have to get destroyed here.
Yeah.
Or all of them jump on the unfortunate communication shuttles and just ram into stuff.
Or maybe they died shortly after, right? In the intervening years, because it has been some years, right? It doesn't necessarily. Well, the implication was that they all died in the same battle, but that's just an implication.
Well, you've been pushing that theory that they all die here, except for that one guy. I remember I said something 2 episodes back, and you said, no, they all died at the battle. So...
Yeah, I mean, to me, the implication is because if only one person, Rosas is the only one. Also, interesting, Rosas is rose in Spanish. Roses, in
fact. He wants more roses.
Yeah.
But he got them. Yeah, at least 3.
He is the only one that survives and creates a memoir. If the others survive, you at least would think like interviews after the battle, like, oh, we lost a great hero. Here are his best friends. What did he know about it? Right? We don't get those other sources.
You'll figure that the guy who wanted more glory is the only guy who survived to get the glory.
Oh, did Rosas want more? Warwick was the one that seemed to want.
We've been confused about it. Remember, I think I remembered a blonde mustache, and Rosas is blonde. Warwick is brunette.
Yeah, darker.
I'm looking at their images. I'm just like the idea that he's got like a brown mustache that seems slightly browner than his actual hair. So I don't know. It's one of the two. I think it implies something pretty heavily if it is Rosas that does want the glory and then survives and is the only member who survives to get said glory.
The thing is that everything we know up to this point about Rosas, including his own words, is like, no, I wasn't worthy. I was the guy in the back.
Remember, he's also very depressed right now due to the loss of his wife. Maybe it makes him do a crazy thing that maybe he even then later regrets. You can do a crazy thing in a moment and then regret it later.
Yeah. Well, maybe. We'll see. but I don't think the way he puts the way the narrative goes and the way up to this point, I mean, there could be subverting expectations, which we'll see. But
I
it's
hope.
very much like, oh, in fact, he was standing with Ashby, like he's like his right hand man right there, like it's like, oh, so it's like, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens, and we'll see whether
I think
thoughts...
it would be a greater narrative if it turns out that he does do something that he regrets later, because the way we get shown him early, right?
Mhm.
We see his thoughts in a book, then we see him wistfully remembering all of his dead friends, and I think that would play better if it was some sort of like Vietnam style remembering the past, but I was a terrible person back then, but I remember the bad things. What was it? It was Watchmen, wasn't it? Silk Spectre. In hindsight, even the bad memories seem good.
Yeah.
When she's remembering, obviously, the comedian and that whole event. So, I could see some. Maybe Alfred is our Silk Spectre of the show. Looking back fondly at horrible events, only because all he has left now is nostalgia.
Yeah.
Maybe not for what he did, but for the times he spent with those people when it wasn't that way. All right, well, I guess that's all there is to that, so let's go ahead and hop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Also, it's kind of like the beginning of Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah.
I mean, all we would need is that, I don't know, like trumpets? But this feels like it was made in the 80s. I mean, the original was made in the 80s, but this was 1998 or 1999. It's one of those two. So you would compare this to what? Macross? SDF Macross?
Yeah.
Or was SDF Macross 80s?
80s. Max 7 was 90s.
Wow. Compare this to Max 7. Macross 7.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
It does, I guess, slightly diminish the art style a bit. Look at his hair. You can still look at Yang's hair. There's no white around it, like somebody cropped it out of a different animation.
Also, it's interesting that you have in this shot, I didn't notice before, you have Alliance and Imperial ships flying side by side and not against each other.
You sure?
That's an interesting choice. Yeah.
Oh, because I saw the Imperial ships flying in from the right to the left, and then Alliance ships flying from the left to the right.
No, they seem to be flying side by side.
I didn't see that. Unfortunately, this is the last recording we're doing today, so I don't have an opportunity to see it again.
Or maybe they're crossing, but because it's panning to right to left, it looks like that. Yeah.
It's just like an argument I once had in another anime about a train. Which direction these trains were going, because we're passing from a character's perspective and they're stopping and moving in different ways. 3 days after the start.
December 7th.
No, remember this fight started on the 4th.
Yeah, well, it's a huge fleet. I wouldn't be.
They also kind of like shotguns.
Yeah.
So many more people for the board. That's the implication that they all got out of their ships, went to another ship to have a meeting. Never mind, they all did it, apparently. We all took a break to have a meeting.
もはやコープは一切口を開こうとはしなかったし、アッシュビーの方も造反した給油を無視していた。だがアッシュビーの態度に立腹していたのはコープだけではなかった。
Okay, I guess it was Warwick.
最高司令官だけで戦争ができるか。貴様一人で帝国軍を全員殴り倒してみるがいい。苦戦の連続で感情が激したウォーリックはそのようなことまで口にした。730年マフィアの面々は軍人として有能であり、人間としても決して劣悪ではなかった。高潔と称される人物もいた。だが、あるいは集団としての生命力が誰も気づき得ぬうちに衰弱していたのかもしれない。第二次ティアマト海戦に際して、これまで熱い友情と協調性に満ちていた少数気鋭の提督たちが、
Okay, so 6 episodes in, we're laying out who could possibly have committed a murder.
大体貴様の人選ミスだ。俺を後方に回してやる気のないベルティーニに先方を任せたりするから、コープもウォーリックも余計な苦戦を強いられる。結果的に別動隊との接触に至らなかっただけで、抑えの必要性と重要性が低かったわけではない。だが、俺の艦隊が
Wait, did we already do the rear assault? Did that already happen?
No, apparently no. The battle's still going.
Then how did they leave their command ship in the middle of the rear assault formation to get here?
補給を終えた両軍が再び動き始めたのは12月8日に入ってからである。まず同盟軍第4艦隊が突出した。マーチ・ジャスパーの勝利のジンクスは伊達ではなかった。わずか15分間の接近戦によってジャスパーは帝国軍の密集隊形をきれいに切り開くことに成功した。チーズをナイフで切るようにとは同盟軍の公式記録に残る表現である。何をしておるか。
How poetic of them.
左右から攻撃せよ。全艦90度回答。
Preferably in the same direction.
今だ、突撃。攻撃来ます。敵の別艦隊です。何？戦艦バーに撃沈。副司令官パルフィミッツ少将戦死。己半とども許さんぞ。再開投して反撃。
It's like when you watch like World War II fleet formations and it's like trying to T-bone the other fleet.
Yeah. Crossing the T is.
勝てそうですね。問題は勝ち続けることができるかどうかだ。戦局はどうなっているんだ。俺たちは勝っているのか負けているのか。
Sorry, I was watching VR porn.
そんなことより無駄玉打つなよ。せっかく補給してもらったんだからな。戦艦スクルド撃沈。閣下、本艦をお下げください。危険です。バカな、交代などできるか。しかし副司令が選出された今、司令官にまで万が一のことが。
You don't want to wind up like Muckenberger.
ここは一時の屈辱に紛れても直撃来ます。何？
Too late.
カイト中将は一命を取り留めたものの意識不明の重体となり、参謀長の懸念した通り、
What was his injury?
の帝国軍は士気の統一を失って開戦。
Oh, his legs got crushed.
I know, just joking. It just they gave him a moment to look like regretful, like he was gonna change his mind, and then like, nope, too late.
の艦隊が被った損害と蓄積された疲労も巨大なものだった。一旦艦列を下げる。距離を取れ。ジャスパーとウォーリックの連携は局地的には大きな効果を上げた。だが全体の戦局は一進一退を繰り返し、12月8日から9日にかけ戦況は完全に膠着し、帝国軍と同盟軍とどちらが有利であるか判断しがたい状態になっていた。とにかく帝国軍は
Conceivably, we know that this battle took place on a year, so it can only go up to the end of December. I feel like.
最も効果的な時点で別動隊が急進して敵の本体の側面から直撃を加える。この別動部隊は各艦隊から割いた兵力を再編成し、 俺が直接指揮を取る。そこでファン、貴様の第8艦隊から3000隻を割いて総司令部の直属に移してくれ。
無理ですな。
え？なぜだ？なぜ無理なんだ？
ご自分でお分かりのことを他人に聞かないでいただきたい。ここで3000隻も供出しては我が艦隊の前線が維持できません。
3000隻がないと全軍が崩壊するのだ。そうなった時、貴様が責任を取るか？
責任を
History says no.
そのような要求をなさる理由を伺いたい。
説明しなきゃわからんのか？お前とは一体何年の付き合いだ？
短いが激しい応酬の末、ようやくファンは3000隻の艦艇を割くことを承知した。アッシュビーが断言した通り、帝国軍はこの膠着状態の打破を当初の上海運動の実現に求めた。全軍をもって時計回りに上海運動を試みて、あわよくば同盟軍を反砲の体制に置こうというのである。だがこれを予想
So it doesn't mean anything to you, but
帝国軍の動きに即応してこ
okay.
れを追尾する体制を取った。それはあたかも2匹の巨竜が互いの尾に食らいつこうとして回り合う姿にも似ていた。この状態のまま戦闘は12月10日に突入し、さらに膠着した戦闘が続いた。多大な消耗と極度の緊張を強いるこの状態に耐えきれず、激発同様の攻勢に出たのは帝国軍カルテンボルン艦隊であった。
Why would you rush? It seems like you could just sit in the middle of the formation and take pot shots at all the rounding outside forces.
同盟軍を蹴散らしにかかった。
I mean, you want to break out of the circle because it keeps circling each other around.
Right, you're kind of just trapped in this whole thing. But I mean, if you were gonna break out, you could sit in the center and just shoot the sides.
人命の悲劇的な浪費であったのだ。カルテンボルン艦隊は反撃の砲火に耐えて F4 中域を占拠したが、そこで行動の限界点に達してしまったのである。秒単位の空白をジャスパーは見逃さなかった。
全艦反転して攻撃。
その手際の鮮やかさは敵味方を同目させた。
さすがだ、ジャスパー。見事。
I'm in a weird position now that I feel like this is making Gang a worse character from the one that I think he is. I know, has nothing to do with it. Yang is not even here. It's a very confusing statement, but I hope to pay it off later. And now I can't stop seeing these ships as very ornate shotguns.
味方を救出する。急げよ。
シュタイエルマルクは艦隊を40の小集団に分け、極めて有機的な援護と反転交代のシステ
Hey,
ムを
wow, that's that conversation thing I said earlier about adapting to the scenario and having smaller hit and run attacks.
だがそこへ冷静向きのファンチューリンが側面攻撃を仕掛けてきた。
撃て。
側面を突かれた帝国軍はほとんど一
I
方的
really
な攻撃
hate
にさらされた。
how we go in depth about how like one fleet does something really clever and like try to change the whole scenario, and then we say, and then the other guy said fire, and that ruined everything for the other guys.
I mean, yeah, for every no plan survives contact with the enemy.
30年マヒアはいずれも艦隊指揮官として極めて有能優位であることをまた
I mean,
も証明したのである。
The small organic group works as long as the other side doesn't gang up on you and isolate you and destroy you, right?
帝国軍の主力が不完全ながら上海運動を果たし、同盟軍第5、第8艦隊の後輩に出現して猛撃を浴びせてきたのである。それはこれまでにない苛烈さであった。
It's not like they just vanish into a pool of smoke. It seems like they like implode when they get hit.
いや、すでに半ば崩壊しつつある。
今現在の戦力比は1対2といったところで我々の劣勢だ。2倍の敵の圧力の前には小さな戦術など生かす余地もない。
第4艦隊も急行し、 帝国軍の側面に猛攻を加えたが、たちまち10倍する火力で報復された。
ブルースは何をやってやがる。まだかアシュビー。
さてアシュビーが来るか死神が来るか、この競争はなかなか見ものだな。
同盟軍の各指揮官は神経の焼き切れる寸前にあった。ここで大攻勢に出なければ帝国軍は上海運動を成功
Is
さ
Bruce
せて
already
同盟
dead?
軍は本国への退路すら断たれる。
Well, that was a bad formation.
焦りもする。
味方です。総司令官の部隊が。
18時10分、形勢は再び
2 hours later.
する。帝国軍は前後から攻撃される形となった。アッシュビーの攻撃方向の選択はまさに神業であった。帝国軍の左側面をそぎ取るように急進し、途中で方向を変え、斜めざまに帝国軍の中央を
I bet we don't see Ashby again.
帝国軍を回覧の淵に叩き込んだのである。
Never mind, fucking wrong again. I was just thinking, we moved out of formation. He goes radio silent, then comes back all of a sudden 2 hours later and attacks. Perfect time to have him get killed, when nobody can see.
ベルティーニはどうしてる。すでに戦死しました。少将中の専任者であるコッパーフィールド提督から報告が入ったところです。そうか、ベルティーニのやつに元帥昇進の先を越されたか。第9艦隊を一時交代させ再編成させろ。
高官ベルティーニの死に同盟軍は
Be great if we just stop ramming each other when we die.
その3倍に及んだとしてもなお足りなかった。ブルース・アッシュビーが心血を注いで構築した重層的な罠の中で、帝国軍は手負いの猛獣となってのたうち回った。もはや体系も
Since I
秩序も
pointed out in so many other shows, yes, I am also noticing the reused animations.
Also, you would think one thing about space battles is you can always call more resources from somewhere else, right? We think, you know, I'm thinking that the Alliance doesn't have the resources, but the Empire could probably bring even more ships.
Depends on
Especially in a
how
couple of
far
days.
into whatever territory they're in, or if there's even radio jamming.
Yeah.
Let me quick correct that right now. Probably not radio. They're using radio, then they'll never get reinforcements. 60 years later, the first star system hears the call for help.
18時52分に至ってついに交戦を断念して配送を始めた。その直後、アッシュビーの機関ハードラックは3隻の巡航艦と6隻の駆逐艦に守られて主戦場中域から前進を始めた。なお孤立した敵艦が散発的な反撃を加えてきたため、直営の巡航艦がわずかに機関から離れた。まさにその瞬間であった。流れ弾の姿
You know, reduced numbers is starting to look like a,
艦隊中央部右下に飛び込んだのは
say, game of Homeworld. Oh man, blood spray too.
この頃の戦闘は女と同様立ちが悪くなった。おい、ローザス、すまんが軍医を呼んでくれ。このまま傷口を塞がずにいると。
Couldn't get more British than that, I feel like.
みんなに分かって。
Hate to bother you. Seems I've been stabbed.
Yeah, I don't think a doctor is going to put all that blood back into you, my friend.
すぐに軍医が駆けつけたが、彼にできたのはアッシュビーの死亡時刻。
Remember though, the only person who can confirm this story at all is Roses, according to what we know in the future. It does seem very convenient that a guy looked at his watch just as it all happened.
彼らは去り我々は残っている。一般的にはこれを勝ったというのじゃないか。
そこへ別の通信が割り込んできて、730年マフィアの面々は自分たちのリーダーが永遠に失われたことを知ったのである。大勝利を収めた同盟軍は勝利の祝杯を
Two of them died that day.
Yep. Rossetti or whatever his name was.
Bertini.
Yeah, that's right. Rossetti is the guy from Grand Theft Auto.
同盟軍史上最年少の元帥であった。ダゴンの英雄リンパオとユースフ・トバロールでさえ元帥号を得たのは40歳に達してからであった。
Guess they should have died younger? I don't know what you're implying here.
同盟軍史上最年少の元帥。アッシュビーの名声を不朽のものとするため、軍首脳部は軽い政治的配慮を浪している。彼と同じく第二次ティアマト海戦で戦死したベルティーニは死後すぐの昇進で大将にとどめられ、元帥号を得たのは死後6年も経ってからだ。このような配慮がアッシュビーの英雄信仰を高めると同時に反感を抱かせる結果となったのか。貴重なお話をありがとうございました。
いや、回想録にも書いたことばかり。
I'm just thinking, or I'm expecting, that we're gonna get the story again, but told in a different way. You know, like a clue ending. But this is what really
こんな
happened.
話でよかったらいつでもまた聞きに来たまえ。
ありがとうございます。またぜひ。
Oh, his face fell. That's if he didn't mean that.
お邪魔しました。
ブルース・アシュビーのことを調査しているの？
ええ、そんなところです。ローザス提督とは親友だったんでしょ、彼は。
ブルース・アシュビーが祖父の親友ですって？冗談じゃないわ。あの男は祖父の武勲を盗んだのよ。
Well, like you
盗賊に
said.
もいろいろな種類があるわ。中には国を盗む者もいれば他人の妻を盗む者もいる。その中で最低なやつは他人の功績を盗むやつよ。そう思わない？
賛成です。一般論としては。アッシュビー提督はあなたの非難に反論できませんよね。ですから私はなるべく小さな声を拾い集めておきたいんですが。
随分とおためごかしの口。
I can only believe that she thinks this way
あなたは
because Rose has said it himself.
別に謝ることはないわ。
So obviously she would have no idea.
あなたは鼻で笑っていればいいのよ。無責任な意見にいちいち耳を傾けてたら脳細胞が破裂しちゃうわよ。
気をつけることにします。
変わった人ね、あなた。
で、あなたのおっしゃることには根拠がおありですか？
さあね、仕事なんでしょ。自分で調べたらいかが？ケンペイさん。
Bye bye.
せめて探偵さんと呼んでくれたらな。アッシュビーの死に
MP, not PI.
No, he wants to be a PI, not a military police.
知られていたということだろうか。つまり同盟軍の情報が敵に漏れていた。意図的に誰かが漏らした。誰が？同盟内部にはアッシュビーと730年マフィアに対する不安と不信があった。かつてルドルフ・フォン・ゴールデンバーグ
So you're saying that there's a spy.
730年マフィアが軍閥化して軍事力と大衆の絶大な人気を背景に軍事独裁国家を築き上げるのではなかろうかという不安。かといって第二次ティアマト海戦で同盟軍が敗れては困る。このアンビバレンツを解消するには同盟軍が勝ってアッシュビーが戦死すればいい。そして結果はまさに理想通りになったわけだが。
象牙の塔を騒がせて申し訳ないが、ちょっとしたニュースがあるぞ。
どうしたんです？誰か死んだんですか？
ローザス提督が亡くなった。それも病死じゃない。自殺か事故か、あるいは他殺の可能性もあるそうだ。
Well, tell us how.
奇妙なことになったな。
予想もしていなかった事態にヤンは愕然としていた。
Don't step in there. Tell us how we fucking
ティアマト
died.
海戦から40年、事態は思わぬ展
Oh,
開
son
を
of a
見せてい
bitch.
た。
Could the granddaughter be the one sending letters, though?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it would fit. You know, he tells her about the negative parts of Ashby that she didn't tell anybody else, and she's like, well, where would she get the he was murdered thing from? Unless he knows. Like I said, I'm expecting but here's how it really turned. I'm still upset. How do you... Oh, he's dead, but not from natural causes. Could have been a murder, suicide, anything. How did he... Was he found choked to death on tea? But... I mean,
that's one way to spill the tea.
Which is, was he hanging from the neck? Like, what? How do you say it could have been suicide or anything else? It's like, well, what? Did he drive his car off a cliff? It wasn't. It just opens the door. Like, I can't. It leaves me to next episode, like you just said, suspecting the granddaughter, maybe, but if there's like an obvious way that he died that she couldn't have done, like,
yeah,
found him hanging off of the roof or something. I was like, well, she's a little bit too weak for that, it seems. I don't know.
I mean, he was the only one left alive. Bertini died in the battle. The others didn't die in the battle, but died at some point, to the point that they didn't write memoirs about it.
Or talk about it to anybody who made a note or recorded them. Again, he didn't seem like that great of a leader either, so it's just like...
アルフレッド・ローザスの突然の死に、ヤンは730年マフィアのそれぞれの生と死に思いを馳せる。そんな中、
But we're not done with her, it looks like.
に就くよう辞令が下された。それはアッシュビー強殺説の調査の中止をも意味していた。次回銀河英雄伝説外伝スパイラルラビリンス第7話、喪服と軍服の間。人は歴史を作り出し、人は歴史を語り継ぐ。
So they say, then the investigation gets suspended. And it's like, well, what the fuck was all this for? At the very least, I was hoping for, he's talking to her again. So she's going to be in this whole thing for the next, until episode 14. And then we find out she was the killer or something, some little twist. Oh, I was getting close to you because you're close to the investigation, and I was hoping to put an end to that investigation. But she has no, motivating factor because she wasn't alive when all this shit happened. Unless it's a political assassination. That Ashby is exactly the person we know him to be, and she's trying to put all the negative shit out there that she's learned over her years from Rosas that he kept from the limelight to politically assassinate a hero of the military.
But why now?
Maybe she's being bribed by the Empire.
Or a political rival.
I mean, it could be anything. Well, I mean, a political rival, I think, would use Ashby, not... what's to be gained by hurting a former hero who actually has, a holiday after him and everything like that? It's like, he's too far back to be a political thing now, but the Empire ruining his name would hurt, be like finding out Santa Claus was real and also that he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's like, okay,
yeah,
Santa...
that would do it. Yeah,
it's like Santa's real. Okay, well, that doesn't really help most people right now. It didn't change their lives. But if you were I don't know what the antithesis of Santa Claus is from any perspective. Feels like the strangest mystery novel ever written. Who stands to gain by Santa Claus being a pedophile? Well, I guess Santa Claus.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So the only one who would stand to gain by ruining that memory is either A, the families of the people who Ashby was a dick to, or caused the death of, like guy who actually died at the battle, or the Empire, who can ruin this like 1/3 of hero propaganda. Guess it's a hit to the morale.
Guess so. We have 10 episodes to go. Covered 4.
Well, we're on 6 now, so 7.
Yeah, 7 to go.
Well, Spiral Labyrinth is 14 episodes, and then after that is another short run of 4 episodes, which I'm hoping again is the other side. I'm hoping that 4 episodes means a bit more compact. But again, we're in the backstory period, so it's not like the main show where it just needs to be a speedy thing. I mean, we're learning about the characters. I mean, I can understand Henry's comment a little bit more now. Because the things that I'm being influenced by, like I said, I feel like Yang is a little bit worse of a character now. During scenes that Yang isn't even here, which will eventually make sense if you remember them. But the fact that I know them from D&T, scenes that you have no context for, it's like, wait, why, what? Yang is reading this in a book, what? So yeah, I feel like it's subverting Yang's character a little bit. And I'm sure people who know what I'm thinking, which has been 0 people in my actual world, so will understand me, which has so far just been me. But
this poses more questions than answers, and I do like that, I hope. But I hope that the answers are satisfactory. It's setting up a lot of things, or not a lot, but a few things.
4 episodes, we were introduced to a mystery. Now in episode 6, we've got a mystery. I don't know. It's good. It's good that we have a mystery. And it feels more solid than what I kept saying during Macross 7. Where they were sprinkling a mystery. Well, now they've just been sprinkling a story, and then boom, mystery.
Yeah.
How did he die? Who killed him? Because it wasn't natural. At least throw that out there.
And why?
Yeah. Yeah, we have all the elements of an actual mystery. What's the motivation? What was the event? Who's to gain? So yeah. Final thought? Any final thought you want to throw out there?
No, I'm looking forward to when we get to back in a week or so. We get back to it.
Week.
Yeah. So
because
we'll see what happens.
We record these bi-weekly now, and we are going to go into Macross Frontier as our next recording. So keep an eye out for that, silver tier patrons. Other than that, though, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?